Right now, for more on Obama's proposed bank fees, we are joined by Bert Ely, CEO of Ely Co. He joins us with his thoughts from Washington, D.C. Bert, welcome to the show. Let me just go ahead and ask, is this the kind of tax that the president is going to hope spurs lending in the banking sector? I mean, that's what we want, right?
Well, we want banks to do lending to creditworthy borrowers. It's not clear that this tax, and I call it the big bank tax, is going to do that. What I'm particularly concerned about is what going to be the...
Bert. I thought it would maybe have the opposite effect.
I'm sorry, you thought it might help lending?
No, I was being a little bit sarcastic. My point is that it might hurt lending.
Oh, I think that's quite possible, particularly if the larger banks feel compelled to slim down their size and in some cases even drop under the $50 billion mark. It's going to certainly change how loans are funded. We may see a sharp upswing in asset securitization, even though that is seen as part of the problem. But also I think what we're going to see that this tax, at least as it's been announced today, could have a serious negative effect on the competitiveness of U.S. banks outside the United States, while also enhancing the competitiveness inside the United States of foreign-based banks.
Let me also ask you about the impact on the consumer, Bert, because you had Jamie Dimon yesterday after his testimony saying using tax policy to punish people is a bad idea. All businesses tend to pass their costs on to customers. Do you think that that's going to happen as well if indeed this goes through?
Well, I think it's quite possible because it changes the profit equation for lots of customers. And what we might see is not only higher fees in many cases, particularly where there's not much bank competition, credit cards being a good example, but also possibly lower deposit rates. And also banks maybe scrutinizing a little more carefully the profitability of some of their customers and saying, you know, you're not profitable enough, take your business somewhere else.
All right,
take it
Bert,
to one of the small banks.
All right, Bert. Hey, Bert, let me ask you, are we kind of jumping the gun here? Because this has got to get through Congress. Many reports out today and folks saying it doesn't even have a chance. What do you think? You're down there in Washington.
I think it's going to, it's quite possible it will not be enacted, certainly not in anything like its present form. I think the Republicans will line up universally against it. But I also think that a lot of the more conservative to moderate Democrats, the Blue Dogs, are going to have some real problems with this. And they've already had their arms twisted a lot in supporting other Obama measures. You know, this may be one where they draw the line, particularly as people start to come to appreciate the fact that banks are being taxed to basically bail out the auto companies. Why can't the healthy auto companies be taxed to bail out the weak auto companies? So the longer this proposal sits out there, the more trouble I think it'll run into.
It does make sense, though, that the White House and everybody on Main Street across the country is kind of angry about bankers' bonuses, right? Because clearly the banks benefited from taxpayer money, and we're looking at unemployment numbers of 10%. Some people say they're going to climb. Why doesn't the administration, if this is what it's angry about, do something specifically about banker bonuses?
Well, it's questionable as to whether or not legally they could do anything with regard to last year's bonuses. Who knows what the bonuses will be in 2010. The British government has tried to do that and may drive jobs out of the UK as a result. I think what's important to realize is that, number one, a lot of these profits are trading profits that may not repeat. And the second thing is this is a sign that the banking industry, the whole financial services sector, is regaining its health, which is positive for the economy. And quite frankly, the magnitude of these bonuses I don't think has any effect whatsoever on our very troubling unemployment rate.
Bert, got a few seconds left. So is this just grandstanding on behalf of the president? You got those midterm elections coming up. So this plays certainly well with the American public.
Well, it certainly is political grandstanding. The question is, will it work? The president is trying to boost his own poor poll numbers. Congressional Democrats are very worried about their losses in November. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays. Quite frankly, it may backfire on them.
All right, hey, Bert, thanks very much for joining us. Our thanks to Bert Ely from Company. Now.